All right. Well, hello, everybody. John McClellan here, Supreme Lending. We're continuing our ongoing series of interviewing a lot of the senior loan officers in our office, getting to know them a little bit better on their, from a personal point of view and on a business point of view. Today we have Lucinda Bachman. Lucinda, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
I noticed that you're wearing red.
Of course.
And that is one of your favorite colors, right? So
That is.
you have a red truck.
Yes, correct.
How many red cars have you had in your life?
More than 6 or 8, probably.
Okay. And
easily.
I noticed your chair in your office is red.
It is red.
How many red shirts do you have?
I couldn't tell you.
And is this something that's been going on for a long time?
For a long time, probably since the 90s.
Yeah.
At least. You know, whenever I got into the mortgage business, I thought I had to be powerful.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people think of red as being the angry color. I think of it as being more of powerful, and a lot of people are scared to wear red, and I'm not scared to wear it at all. So.
Gotcha. So do you have a special little flutter when a fire truck drives by?
Sometimes.
With the sirens on and it's
as
red?
long as he's not right behind me, yeah.
Do people ever mistake you for a firefighter?
No.
You could probably follow
no.
close behind those,
Yeah.
right, as they're going, and nobody would
Yeah.
question you.
Yeah.
Until you
Yeah.
didn't stop and help with the fire. That
Exactly.
could be a problem.
I'm just like in the tailwind. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So listen, you've been in here in Texas for your whole life, right?
Born and raised.
And where were
Yes,
you
sir.
born and raised at?
I was born in Burnett, Texas.
And it's burn it, darn
It
it,
is burn it, darn it, learn
learn
it.
it.
That's
Not
right.
Burnett.
No. No.
And by the way, I don't know if you've noticed here in Austin, there's a lot of new people.
Oh, yeah.
And they've started to rename some of our roads now.
Mm-hmm.
I hear a lot of people say Burnett.
Burnett.
They say Manchaca. And what's Manchaca? They say, I don't know, Koenig. They call it something Koenig or.
Koenig, I think, or something like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
there's
it's
a lot
Koenig.
of interesting
Yeah.
way they change the vernacular for
That's
us.
right.
But it's burn it, darn it, learn it.
That
if
is
you want to go to
correct.
Burnett, Texas or Burnett Road.
That's right. You have property in Burnett County or Llano County?
And Burnett County, yeah,
That's
have
right.
Lake Buchanan, one of
Yep.
the most beautiful places and
That's right.
underrated lakes, I think, in Central Texas.
That totally correct. It is underrated.
Yeah, so you grew up in Burnett, so you probably
Yes.
went to Storm's Hamburgers when you were young.
Absolutely. We went. Well, Storms was not in Burnett at that time.
was down
Storms
in
was
Lampasas.
only in Lampasas.
Gotcha.
Storms was what we called Buster's, and it was the place to be, especially if you had a car.
Yeah.
So, it was a
So
place
tell me about growing up in Burnett.
not a lot to do.
Yeah.
Not a lot. You just troll
to
the
Buster's.
street. You go to Buster's, you turn around, you go down 281, you turn around, and yeah, there's not a lot to do.
Well, you probably had
Friday
to go
night
to Inks
football.
Lake. What is it, Devil's Hole?
We went to Devil's Waterhole.
Yeah, that's big cliffs
we
out
went
there
to
you jump off
Black
of.
Rock Park. That was the after 12 place typically. So
How has Burnett changed, do you think, over the years?
it's trying to progress. I think what I call the kids that are my age, we're all getting older, and those are the people that are easing into running the town now, and it's helping it progress. But it's still, way far behind.
Yeah, I
as
noticed they
far
don't
as
have a
some of the
Walmart there. I think they do that on purpose, which I kind of liked that, right? Keeps
Well,
all the local businesses.
Walmart tried years ago. Walmart tried, and the older generation, like my parents' age, that were running the town, there were a group of them it was a handshake, and that was the deal. And they said, absolutely not. We don't want them here. So they went, well, see ya. And Marble Falls was like, bring it on.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've suffered ever since then, because shortly thereafter, a lot of mom and pop places in Burnett went down because of that.
Yeah,
So
because I think that Walmart's just on this side of Marble Falls, too.
it is. That is correct. Yes.
So, we were talking about Lake Buchanan and Inks Lake being pretty underrated for people here in Central Texas. They're beautiful lakes, lots of things to do. And actually, the drive times out there are very nice. I know
Oh,
that
yeah.
the house I have out there, I think it's 56 minutes door to door for me.
It is 55 from door to door from where mine is in Kingsland.
Yeah.
And they have bluebonnets out there already now.
So, now, speaking of things to do in Burnett, I'm sure you went to the Slab when you were younger, too. If you want to describe people what the Slab is out in Kingsland.
The Slab is, it's a little, at my time, it turned into a gravel road. It was paved so many yards off of the 1431 highway. And then it turned into a gravel road, and then there was a concrete bridge that went across, and there's rocks on both sides, and the Llano River feeds into and over the bridge, and depending upon the water, depends on the rapids, but it was one of those places where all the kids gathered, and we were all drinking Cokes all
Right,
the
so
time.
it's like a redneck water park.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would that be?
Yeah,
Would
that
be
would be a very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I had a lot of
Yeah.
time growing up. Yeah, we used to go out there all the
Yeah.
time.
Well,
too.
and I had a little red Chevy Love truck.
Shocking.
And, yeah. 4 on the floor. And I was typically one of the ones that would go over the bridge to Buchanan to pick up the beer
Yeah.
or whatever. And then we would go to the Slab because they put that and or the keg in the back of my little red truck. My little red truck was typically always in the same place.
Yeah.
And there we were.
So growing up in Burnet, then you, before you got in the mortgage business, you've been in the mortgage business, what, 28 years?
This June.
Before that, I learned that you sold Mary Kay Cosmetics for a while, but you didn't drive a pink car. You had your red car.
No. And I really didn't want a pink car to begin with. But
That's not a power
No.
color, is it?
no, it's not.
So
No.
tell me, so was that your first foray into sales?
I guess it was. And they taught me to have a mirror beside my phone when I made my weekly calls, and that you needed to smile as you're talking on the phone. And I still kind of revert back to that because I can pick up the phone sometimes and, you switch gears or whatnot, and it's like, okay, you got to remember to smile because they can see how you're feeling right now.
Right.
So
Same
I try
on the
to remember
radio.
that.
When we do the radio show,
Yeah.
you have to smile because it actually comes through the voice.
It
Yeah.
does.
So is that one of the things you picked up that maybe helped you further in your career? That you obviously still remember it.
I think it's helped, just because, like I said, it is kind of hard to change gears when somebody picks up the phone. You pick up the phone, somebody just calling in, and it might not be just the right time or something, but I do try to remember that all the time. Yeah.
So after Mary Kay, what did you do?
I got my real estate license in 1988 when everything was falling apart.
That's big, the S&L scheme, right?
Yes.
Savings and loan, lots of foreclosures,
Yes,
banks
tons.
closing.
And I was living in Marble Falls, and I was the admin for / secretary at that time. That was the word that they used for a broker. And he talked me into getting my license, and I went through the classes, got my license, and I never really sold a lot because I couldn't understand how come people would actually get in my car telling me they want one thing. I take them to show what they want, and then it's nothing like they want. So the indecisiveness drove me nuts.
And that was obviously before the internet, before the MLS online.
Yes.
You had to get a book out, right?
Yes.
It would come.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would come once a week, I think.
Yeah. And it's probably a little bit harder to show to preview houses with people. Maybe when you had to go out there and look at
Yeah,
it.
you have to go to each one of them before and try to compare the photos and all that. It was
Yeah.
nuts. It was nuts.
Yeah, that's interesting. So
Yeah.
you were real estate, and then how did you transition from being a real estate agent into being a loan officer?
Well, I was working for one of the largest real estate companies here in Austin. I had been hired on as their admin for the REO section. They had the HUD contract when all the foreclosures was coming up. And I could, because I had a real estate license, I could answer people's questions on the phone because I had the license.
Right.
So I got the job. They lost that contract, and at that time, that was when mortgage companies inside real estate offices were fairly new. And the manager of the real estate office was kind of like, hey, why don't you come to work for me on Monday? And I'm like, man, I don't balance.
Of the mortgage office, you mean?
Yeah, the branch manager. He's like, come to work for me. And I said, I don't balance my checkbook and I can't spell mortgage. And he was like, I'll teach you everything you know. I'll see you Monday. And here I am.
Yeah, here you are 28 years later, right?
Yes, that was June. I was June 1st, 92.
So tell me about your family. You have 4 kids?
I have 4 grown
husband?
kids, 5 grandkids, 16 to 4. So
That
it's
must
kind of
be-
busy.
Yeah, I bet that is
Yeah.
busy. 16
Yeah.
to 4.
16. Mhm.
So having kids myself, they can be a handful, but I do love the different ages that they go through. Right, it's like
Yes.
different stages.
Yes.
Watch it, and for
Yes.
you can almost see like every stage, right? If you're
I've got
from
every
both-
stage right now.
Yeah, all at the same time. Do
pretty
you ever
much.
have them all at the house at the same time?
Doug and I had that the last time we had all 5 of them together was last fall. and it turned into the epic grandparent fail. So, I mean, it was, yeah, so that probably won't happen again for a little while, so.
Were there just toys everywhere and dishes piled up?
No, it wasn't that kind of chaotic. I have a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old that are both alphas. And it changed the dynamics of the whole weekend.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah.
So we're going to keep them sequestered for a while then.
Well, just not all 5 together.
Right.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you're in the mortgage business. Do you have any favorite stories about, let me rephrase that. What do you love about the mortgage industry? What's kept you in it for 28 years?
The ability to help someone in need, and I will help anybody do anything as if I physically can. And the fact that I can help somebody, better their life with a home or, just a space that's big enough for everybody. They just got married and they're, putting 2 families together, and just the ability to help people.
I think a lot of people don't realize that in the real estate business as a whole, that's really the bottom line of what we do, right? We put people in homes, and a home can mean, like you said, bringing 2 families together, right?
Yeah.
With multiple kids into an environment that's conducive for them all to be in there.
Right.
So is that probably one of your favorite part of your jobs, like figuring out how to file works and figuring out how to get this family a home if they've been turned down by somebody else?
Yeah, especially if they've been turned down by somebody else.
Yeah, so I'm sure you've probably helped a lot of them over the years.
I have.
So you said you used to work for some of the builders here in Austin too?
I did. I worked for Newmark Homes for, I think, 6 or 8 years, and I worked for Wilshire for 3.
Gotcha.
And that was fun.
Yeah. So now your kids are all grown out of the house?
Yes.
It's you and your husband. What do you all do for fun, other than buy red clothes and red cars?
We have a lake house in Kingsland that we are going through the remodel process now. We took it down to the
things
studs.
that are fun.
Yeah, that's not fun. I'm finding out that, there's a special person like, what's her, the Magnolia lady, to do that all the time. No. But we have a boat, we had a boat. We're going to get a new boat. Ours flooded.
Oh, yeah, the big flood we had about a year or so
and a half
ago.
ago. We haven't replaced it yet, so that's on the radar in the next probably month or so. But it's basically that and grandkids.
So what do y'all do to have fun?
Well, there's just all different places that you go on the lake. My best friend has got a power boat on Lake Travis, so we go on some poker runs with her.
Yeah.
And, it's basically water and sun.
Yeah.
So.
Well, nice. So, tell me about what's your business focus now. When you walk into the office every day, I see you're every day working diligently, working hard. What is your focus when you walk in? Is it taking care of files you have? Is it learning more about the industry? Where do you find your joy in this business right now?
When I come in, yes, I'm try to be as focused as I can, and I guess I kind of bounce back and forth with 2 priorities. I have to work on my business and in my business every day, somehow, some way. And lately, with some of the stuff that I got going on in files, I'm working on them, and then in them, and I'm trying to work on my business at the same time. So, and I'm trying to reach out to new, different agents to work with and develop those relationships. So.
Well, you're wearing the color red, so that means you can put out fires, right? And in the mortgage business, that is something we have to deal with on a daily basis, right?
We do.
I think what a lot of people don't understand or remember is, back in the 90s and 2000s, that the kind of checks that we do on the background, and we have to per Fannie, Freddie, FHA, whoever it may be, some of these online checks that we have to get, pretty deep, right? And before, say 10 years ago when you got a mortgage, the mortgage companies didn't have to do these things. So a lot of things would slide under the mat, right? Now we find out about them, and a lot of times we find out about them right through the middle of the process.
Exactly.
So I'm sure that's a lot of things that you've been dealing with. How have you changed your business, say, from the mid-2000s into 2020? How has your business changed?
I've always been more of a real estate agent relationship. So I've just tried to, instead of appealing to the masses, I've tried to hone that down to where it's a good number that's manageable that I can keep up with the relationships. That's been my main focus, to do that, because I used to think that, everybody had to know what I was doing. Everybody, I had to try to touch base with and you just can't do that. And
Yeah,
keep
you physically
a good,
can't, right?
You physically can't, and I finally learned that. So, I try to keep a core group that I can keep in contact with all the time.
And give them the kind of service that
Exactly.
they deserve, right?
Exactly.
Instead of just having,
Yeah.
So I think one of the things I've seen with a lot of the physicians lately, they have these VIP physicians that used to have 3,000 or 4,000 patients. Now they create a VIP service where they only have 300 or 400.
Right.
And this sounds like
Right.
kind of the same thing that you're doing
Right.
too.
Well, and they know that if I don't call them back, in an hour or 2 hours, they know that something's going on with me. And because they're used to that. They're used to, if you get my voicemail, I'm going to call you back right away, as soon as I can.
So, just to kind of sum it up here, what would you want anybody watching this, who's obviously going to be your friends, your family, maybe people who are thinking about a loan officer, what do you think that your strengths are as a loan officer?
My strength as a loan officer, I guess it would be I want to get everything that I can done up front, to where it's just like you said, those things that come up in the middle. I try to circumvent any of those kind of things as much as I possibly can. And I think one of the biggest things with me that I've had other agents tell me is that if I tell you I can do it, I'm going to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've lost deals in the past because it's like, I can't guarantee you that I can get this done in 8 days.
You're right.
I can't. No, there's
I'm
no.
not going to lie to you, basically.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear.
Right.
To get your business, I'm going to tell you what I know I can do, and I can walk that talk.
Can I tell you what I think one of your strengths are?
What?
Is that you don't give up. And I think that's one of the best
No.
attributes of a good loan officer, right?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that when things get rough, when the boat's leaking a little bit, and things are happening, right? That
And the boats leak a lot sometimes.
Yeah,
so.
they do. But you don't give up. You keep
Yeah.
paddling. You keep bailing it
Yeah.
out, and that's
Yeah.
and I think that's a common theme of what I see with a lot of different loan officers out there.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that are good, they're the ones that don't give up. And sometimes
Yeah.
they go, you know what? You said no, but I'm going to go do some research
Yeah.
and see if I can find a yes
Yeah.
or maybe inside of here
Yeah.
and turn it around. So that's one of the things
Yeah.
I appreciate about you, that you don't give up and you dig in and find out the facts. And then,
Yeah.
we recently had one that after all the facts were in, it couldn't work because of the property.
Yeah.
And then at that point, okay, I'm done. But
We're
before
done.
that, you dug in.
Yeah.
Let's just make sure.
Yeah, you have to do
But
your
once
due
all the
diligence.
evidence was here,
Right.
then at that point, you do have to shut it down, right?
Right. Exactly.
So anyway, I appreciate you. Thanks for doing this today. You did a great job, by the way.